From Brunswick Zone Roswell, it's the final match of our weekly Junior Bowling Challenge, an informal and impromptu after-league competition between some of our most active youth league bowlers. Our kids bowled 2 elimination games. Following each of the first 2 games, the low bowler dropped out. They started with 4 bowlers. Nolan was eliminated at the end of the first game, and Christian was eliminated at the end of the second. So we're now down to just 2 bowlers for weekly bragging rights. So let's meet our finalists. Charles is the winner of the October Georgia YBT Junior Gold Qualifier in the U15 Boys Division. That event held just a week earlier on October 2nd at Cherokee Lanes in Canton. And Logan is the winner of the August Georgia YBT Junior Gold Qualifier in the U15 Boys Division, held on August 7th at AMF Woodstock Lanes in Woodstock. These 2 are consistently among the top U15 boys in the state of Georgia, so this should be a pretty even match. They're bowling today on the Kegel Challenge pattern known as Beaten Path. 41 feet long with slightly lower than average volume and a ratio of around 4-to-1. A bit of buildup of oil in the center of the lane, but not enough to give our players much help. Expect the scoring pace to be moderate. So here we go. They're bowling a 2-game match, total pins over the 2 games to decide the winner. PBA match play style of play, and Logan starts on the left lane. And that one gets away like a runaway train and barely catches the left side of the head pin. And he's lucky to get 9. Ten-pin poses no problem for him. So Logan opens with a spare, and we get our first look today at Charles. Smooth and powerful, Charles opens with a perfect strike. And that one was a little left off his hand, through the nose, leaving a 6-pin. Fairly routine spare here. Uh-oh. And that one gets away from him. And there is an open frame, and that hands an early lead to Logan. Comes up a little light, leaving a 2-5. Shooting this from the right side of the lane, and he converts it. I think as these guys go along, they will find that spares like the 2-5 are best played from the left side of the lane to cut down on the angle that you can chop the 2 off the 5. That's the kind of ball we've come to expect from Logan. Solid in the pocket. Can't throw it any better than that. Charles has got that right lane wired, it looks like, here in the early going. Another solid pocket hit. Another powerful strike. Oh my goodness. Stone 7. Welcome to Roswell, Charlie. He'll go cross lane at this. And he converts the 7-pin. Logan can't quite get the ball to finish enough to carry out the 10. He had a chance to extend his lead to 20, but with a conversion, he'll stay out in front by 10. There you go. And another easy spare. That one looked left off his hand, goes through the nose and leaves the 6, 7, 10. Very difficult split to convert. You'll need to get the ball over to the right of the 6-pin to slide it over into the 7. And that catches too much of the 6. So an open frame in the 5th for Logan. And that hands the lead back to Charles. Charles gets a little lucky there. That one coming up very light. Could have had the bucket, could have had a 5 count. But he gets 9 and leaves a very easy spare, the 5-pin. And no problem there. So midway through this first game, Charlie has a 3-pin lead. Remember, they're bowling 2 games, and total pins will decide it. Oh, that came up a little high, but he got away with it. Tripped the 4-7. Look out. That one was wide all the way.
Every once in a while, you just got to open the barn doors and let one run.
1, 2, 4. Got to be careful with this one. Get it over onto that Brooklyn side of the head pin. Just like that. Looks like he's going right up the boards on that lane, and he probably needs to be swinging it out just a little bit. Not too much. He will go cross lane at the 6-10 and converts at the spare. But Charles now, with a 5-pin lead, has a chance to extend it to 15 if he can double here. Solid 10. And we will talk about the 10-pin between these 2 games in our bowling tip of the week.
There you go.
And there is Charles' spare conversion. So the lead remains at 5 at the moment. Oh my goodness. The 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, otherwise known as the Greek church. He'll go for the count. He'll go for the 3 on the right. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, that is a huge loss in count, both on the first and the second ball. So he goes from a 5-pin lead to being down by 15 pins, all in one disastrous frame. And Logan puts one right in the hole. So that sets him up for a chance to extend to 25 and open up a big lead here at the end of the first game. And he gets it going, Brooklyn. I know he's not proud of it, but he's not going to give it back either.
All right, Charlie.
So Charles has his work cut out for him now. And that ball creeps high through the nose, leaving a 6-10. Oh my goodness. Well, he whiffed them both. I would never expect to see that out of him, but they're back-to-back opens, and now the lead is 37 for Logan. And that comes up in that half pocket zone. He was lucky to get the 7 out of there. We had the 7-10 standing for just a moment. Stop the bleeding here and get a spare anyway. Gets it. So Logan, not waiting, is ready to start his 10th frame. He pulled that one. It goes high. Brooklyn leaves the 6. That's Charlie filling out his 10th. Does it the right way with a solid strike. And Logan, my goodness, Logan whiffs the 6-pin, and he will end this first game with a commanding 24-pin lead. It's the bowling tip of the week. And this week, we take a closer look at the bane of every right-hander's existence, the 10-pin. Now, for a left-hander, we're talking about the 7-pin. But since we have two right-handers bowling in this match, we'll use them as the example here. And the question is, why does the 10-pin still stand on seemingly good pocket hits? Well, PBA Hall of Famer Nelson Burton Jr. once said, "When one round object hits another round object, they don't always react the same way." And while that's a clever remark, there actually is a good reason why the 10-pin remains standing on a pocket hit. And it has to do with how the ball is rolling when it enters the pocket. On a solid strike, the ball drives through the 1-3 pocket and leaves the pin deck to the left of the 9-pin, between the 8 and 9. This is an indication that the ball had plenty of power and churn as it went through the pins. It was still climbing. But whenever you leave a 10-pin, the ball has deflected to the right, finishing to the right of the 9-pin, between the 9 and 10 pins. There are two types of 10-pin leaves. The solid 10, where the 6-pin flies up and around the 10, and the weak or flat 10, where the 6-pin lies down in the channel and doesn't have the impetus to get up and kick out the 10. In both cases, the ball has hit the 1-3 pocket, but it has deflected to the right as it's gone through the pins. Now watch closely as the ball goes through the pins on this solid 10 leave, and pay particular attention to where the ball is as it exits the pin deck. It exits the pin deck to the right of the 9-pin, between the 9 and 10. On a weak 10, the deflection is even more pronounced, as the ball deflects so much that it almost deflects all the way over into the 10-pin. This is a ball that was DOA, dead on arrival. There are two things you should take away from this lesson. One is that the 10-pin is anything but a perfect hit. It is a weak hit where the ball lacked the drive to churn through the pins as needed. It didn't come off your hand quite as well as it could have. And two is that you should not only watch where the ball enters the pins, but do what the pros do. Pay particular attention to how the ball goes through the pins and where it leaves the back of the pin deck. That'll tell you a lot about how well you threw the ball. All right, the second game is set to begin, and Logan takes a 24-pin lead into this decisive game. Charles will start this game on the left lane. And that's the way to start a game. Catches a light hit, sometimes called the wall shot. Dick Weber made a career of getting those strikes. And we hear Logan saying, "You think I can strike in the pocket?" Well, he struck in the Brooklyn pocket that time. And a little overcompensation that time as the ball gets a little wide of the mark. Leaves the 1, 2, 4. Look out. Needed to get that one over to the Brooklyn side. And he has an open frame, and part of that 24-pin lead is already gone. There's a double to start the match, and look at this. Logan's 24-pin lead is down to just 2 after 2 frames. That's how important spares are. As Charles comes up a little high, leaves the 6-10. And converts. Looks like he's having a little trouble with the approach over on the left side of the lane. Tests it out. Oh my goodness. What seemed like a good pocket hit. That is not a stone 8. That is like a weak 8. A stone 8, the ball actually chops the 5 straight back off the 8. But in this case, oh goodness, he actually hit the 5 in front of the 8, and then he missed the 8-pin. Well, we've seen some unusual misses from Logan here in the last week. Not what we expect, and now he just seems a little confused, going high, leaving the baby split. And gets it through the back door. At least he stopped the string of opens. Well, that's what you do. That's what you do when you've got the lead and you've got a chance to extend it right here. Oh, he gets that hit that's right in the switch zone, and it just doesn't quite get the 7, so Charlie's unable to extend his lead, but let's see if he can maintain that 7-pin advantage. He does with a conversion, so I get a feeling this game is going to go right down to the very last ball. What in the world? Logan right in the pocket, leaving a solid 5-pin. Just not used to seeing that kind of pin action from him. Spare. And he's celebrating a pocket strike. That was a good one, though. It seemed like that one needed to push a little bit. Comes up high. Another 6-10 for Charlie. Got us a close match. Narrowly avoiding the chop. He nearly picked the 6 right off the 10 there. But he holds on to a 6-pin advantage. And that one comes up high as well, leaving a 4-pin as the lead shrinks to 5, while Logan's working on a strike and can move out ahead if he can double on his next ball. Charles covers the 4, no problem. Well, this is where Logan needs to step on it, right here. And he did. So the lead goes back to the young man in the Denver Bronco orange. Now he can extend the lead. With another one, he does. And look at this. Now it's a 15-pin advantage in the closing frames of the match. And Charles answers with a powerful strike of his own. And now he needs to put one on top of it right here and cut that lead to 5. But no, it is a weak 10. We can't be making any mistakes here. He needs to convert this. Oh my goodness, no. So an open in the 9th, and now suddenly Logan is in the driver's seat with a 27-pin lead. And then he goes through the nose, leaving the eminently choppable 3-6-10. There are a myriad of ways to miss this spare. And that's one of them. He gets 8 out. And now that 27-pin lead is down to just 10.
So right now it is.
So we've got us quite a little match here. Logan can shut him out if Logan can double here. But he doesn't. So here's the situation. If Logan makes this and then strikes on the fill ball, well, he doesn't make it. My goodness gracious. I was just going to say, if he made that and struck, we could have a tie. But now, Charles needs to fill 20 to win. Look out. All right, now he's going to face that same tricky spare that Logan missed on the same lane, the 3-6-10. He needs to make it. This is a must convert here. And he's got it. So it comes down to this. Charles needs a strike to win, 9 to tie, 8's a loser. Logan can't watch. And he blows the rack.
BS I've ever seen in my life.
And Charles takes the two-game match by a single pin. How about that? What a finish.
That's what I'm talking about.
348 to 347. Well, we expected fireworks and we expected a close match, and that's exactly what we got.